Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2. All right. Audio and video is good. Plug this phone in case it wants to run out of batteries. Whew, it's a hot one. It's like 100 degrees over here in LA. All right, work is done, laundry's done. Got some coffee and some oat milk creamer. Let's make a coffee. About to see what this orange turd's about to say. All right, what up, everyone? It's happy Monday out there, y'all. It's Monday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles, California. All right, let's go see what moves this orange turd has to say today. All right, this is him earlier on the Air Force One. And then after this, we'll check out his rally in Michigan. All right, here we go.
You have a question, Jennifer?
Yes. On the Iran war, you've been frustrated with Secretary Hegseth because of the advice he gave you early on in the war and how it's turned out.
I think he's done a great job. We've pretty much destroyed their military. They want to meet, and we're meeting. We'll see what happens. There's a chance we can make a deal. Without what we did, they wouldn't be talking to us. They requested a meeting with their surrogates man directly. And we're meeting, and, good things can happen. I guess oil dropped very big today. Stock markets, as of about an hour ago, was like through the roof. But no, they requested a meeting. They would not have requested the meeting if we were doing poorly. The only reason they want to meet is because we.
Hey, what's up, Booney? The only advice I could give you is to stop being a MAGA supporter.
Yeah.
How much patience do you have left with the monsters?
I have plenty of time. But their whole shoreline is wiped out. The straight.
Hey, what's up, Mike? What's up, Code Miser? How are you guys all doing? What up, everyone?
Very good shape. And we're talking right now. They wanted to talk. The people said, please don't shoot last night, the night before, 2 nights. Don't do it. We're having good talks. So we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance that something will happen. And if it does, good. If it doesn't, we go back to doing what we were doing 2 days ago.
What has communication been like with the Houthis and the Red Sea? The Houthis, are you concerned about the
Saudi
disruptions?
Arabia, and it's a problem that we had a while ago, and we knocked the hell out of them, as you know. We didn't have any problems with the Houthis after that. But we're not involved in that. But we may, if they're a problem, we'll probably have to get it.
On Saudi Arabia, have you gotten any indications from Saudi Arabia when it comes to the Abraham Accords that they will sign on?
We haven't talked about that.
Is Treasury concerned about keeping stockpiles if there's Iranian conflict?
We have money. We have a lot of ammunition, different types. Biden gave a lot to Ukraine, and so we're building that up. But we have a lot. We have a lot of the mid-level stuff too. More than we could ever use, no matter what. But we have a lot. I'd like to have more, to be honest. But so much was given to Ukraine by Biden. When I left, the cupboards were full. When I came here with Obama, he didn't buy ammunition. We had very little. And I got it built. Now.
Yeah, let me see. I'm not sure about the audio. If anything, it's probably because it's on Air Force One, so I think this is as good as the audio gets for that. But this is only like a 10-minute long video, so after this, we'll play the Donald Trump's rally. See what's up.
When I left, they gave a lot of it to Ukraine. I mean numbers that nobody's ever seen before. So we're building it very rapidly. Plants are being built. A lot of equipment is being built. The Patriots. I plant system is going up. We have a lot. Every one of our contractors is building 4 to 5 plants right now. And we're in very good shape. But for some of the more sophisticated stuff, we'd certainly like to have more. Biden gave a lot of it away.
Mr. President, you put out a Truth Social this morning about leader John Thune. What's your relationship like with the Senate Majority Leader?
He's got to get his job done. It's fine. I have a good relationship with John Thune. He's just got to get his job done. You got to get the Save America Act passed. Or better than that would be the filibuster. If you terminate the filibuster, everything happens. If you don't terminate the filibuster, only bad things will happen. If you don't terminate the filibuster, only bad things will happen.
If you don't want to see him replaced as leader,
I haven't even thought of it.
Prime Minister Netanyahu tomorrow. Why did you ask? Why did you ask for that meeting? I know you guys are on the same page on Iran. Are you on the same page on Iran? You and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Sure, pretty close. We have a little difference, but pretty close, yeah. Iran took a beating over the last 14 days, and they asked us very nicely, please stop. Let's meet. And that's what we are right now. See what happens. If we don't make a deal, we go back to the same thing.
President Zelensky says that Russia is giving Iran satellite imagery of U.S. bases in the Gulf to help them target. What can you do about that?
Well, we'll find out. I'll ask Putin about it. We'll find out. It hasn't had much impact because we've knocked the hell out of everything. If that's the case, look, they gave Venezuela a lot of equipment. Venezuela had all Russian equipment. How did that work out? Not too good. So they may be giving, but if they are, it hasn't worked out because they have no army, they have no air force, they have no navy, they have no nothing. So it hasn't worked out. But I don't think they've been doing it. Certainly not at a high level. And if they have, it has been very unimpactful.
There's been reports that the United States has taken in $13 billion from Venezuela. Where is that money going?
13 billion from Venezuela. I think even more than that. No, Venezuela, we paid for that war many times over. And that'll happen with Iran also. We paid for the war many times over.
But where is that money going?
Which, by the way, no other president can say that for a long time. Okay? What was the last president that could say that? So we had a cost of Venezuela, we paid for it many, many times over. And now, as you know, we have a very good relationship with Venezuela.
Where is the money going?
For running the country.
No, the money that the U.S. is taking in. Where is that money going?
Well,
Yes.
but running the country. It can go to the military. Congress has to approve it. Congress doesn't like approving money for the military. They like giving it to things that shouldn't be done. But we're taking in a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars from Venezuela. That'll happen with Iran too.
The Iranian assets, you said that Iranian assets will be used to pay for damages to ships that are hit in the Strait of Hormuz, but the U.S. pay shipping companies directly.
No, we're going to use Iran's money to pay for the damage they do. In other words, the Iran money that we control will be used to pay for damages. Sound good? Not bad, right? That's America. Okay. Any other questions?
FOMC is meeting this week on Wednesday.
We're going to Michigan. The car companies are doing better than they've ever done. Many, many plants are being built all over the United States. They'll be opening them over the next year. Toyota just agreed to come in, move its entire operation out of Mexico and into the United States. They'll be opening, I guess, the largest plant in the world, somebody said, but because of tariffs and because of me. All because of Trump. So, it's been pretty amazing.
The Federal Reserve is meeting this week. They've not hit the inflation target set. They've not hit the 2%. There's some that's.
Very good inflation report the other day.
Are you worried that they might?
Costs are going down rapidly. Don't forget, I inherited these. I haven't been here very long. I inherited the worst inflation in history from Biden. My costs are going down rapidly. And as soon as the war is over, you're gonna see a big drop.
Are you worried that the Fed's going to hike rates to counter inflation?
And Kevin's fantastic, but he's got a board, and the board members are very political. So we find our way through the race because we're doing so well. But no, he's got a board. So he wants to do the right thing. I know what he wants to do. You need the consent of some people that have perhaps bad intentions. Rates should be lowered. This country could be at 8%, 9%, 10%, 12% GDP. That's what it should be. We have other countries that are paying less interest rates, and if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even exist. It's ridiculous. And they call them elite. We have other countries, I don't want to really mention names of countries, but I can give you plenty, that they take money out of the U.S. and because of that, they get a lower interest rate than we do. And it shouldn't be that way. We should have the lowest interest rate in the world. I could take the money that these countries are making, put it into our portfolio, and we should have the lowest interest rate in the world, like it used to be 30 years ago. We always made the lowest rate. If you take a look at like Switzerland, where we have a $30 billion deficit, I could wipe out that deficit overnight. That'd be money that would actually indirectly come to us. So we have a lot of interesting things going, but our country is the strongest we've ever been. It's the hottest country anywhere in the world. And frankly, it would be very nice to a lot of countries that would not survive without us. And you know who wouldn't survive without us? Israel. Bibi's coming here to tell you, if I didn't get involved and if I didn't blow up those nuclear, essentially soon-to-be nuclear weapons, the dust, as they call it, Israel would have been terminated months ago and years ago if I didn't terminate the Obama horrible agreement.
Prime Minister Netanyahu does disagree with you on the F-35s to Turkey. Are you going to tell Prime Minister Netanyahu opposes sending F-35s to Turkey? Are you going to tell him?
Turkey's been a great ally for me. You know, I think he's done a very good job. Did a good job with Syria. He's a friend of mine, and nobody tells me what we should be selling it now. Turkey's been a tremendous ally for me. It was up to Turkey. Turkey's not a big fan of Israel. You know that, right? They're not a big fan of me. But they've been great for me. Turkey has been great. Very powerful country, by the way. Tremendous military. Very big military. Very powerful. But has a lot of great equipment.
Does Netanyahu want you to strike a deal on Iran? Or does he want you to keep attacking?
It's been good. Bibi has been great. I'm not going to say it. He was a wartime prime minister. We did very well together. And if you look at Iran now, they're 8% of what they were 4 months ago. They're 8% of what they were 4 months ago. So we'll see how this all comes out. Okay?
On the same back, why do you want the U.S. Senate to stay in town? Shouldn't they be out across the country
What a
campaigning?
stupid question.
Shouldn't they be out and be campaigning though?
What a stupid question. But Jennifer Nash is stupid. She's a smart person. I knew her all the way back in the Iowa days when she said Trump's going to win. And boy, was she right. So listen, why do I want the SAFE Act has to be done? They shouldn't leave town. I'm not going to stop them from doing it, but they should get the SAFE Act done. If they don't get it done, it's going to be a very bad thing for the party. And frankly, you know, if you look at it, the SAFE Act is going to be voted against by all Democrats, just so you know. We have some Republicans that I will not comment on, a few of them, probably 4, that get the vote. I'd like to comment on them, but I have too much sense to do it. The Democrats are going to vote 100% against voter identification and proof of citizenship. 100%. They want your taxes to go up. They want men playing in women's sports. They want open border for the world's criminals to pour into our country. And yet, despite all of that, we have the lowest crime rate in the history of our country since 1900 with murders. With all of that, with all of the 25 million people, many of them criminals that the Democrats let in. Well, they just announced this morning they want an open border policy where the world's criminals can pour into our country. I think they're crazy. There's something wrong with them. Any other questions?
Any comment on China? Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said last week the administration is going to look into whether Chinese AI models were distilling from U.S. models. Do you think China's stealing American IP?
Well, you know, they're looking at us and we're looking at them. But we're leading there, China, substantially in AI. and we're going to keep it that way. We're leading everybody in everything. We have a country that's doing well. Thank you very much, everybody. See you in Michigan.
All right, so that was Donald Trump right there. On Air Force One earlier today. So let's go check out. So after this, he did some kind of rally in Michigan. So let's go see what that's all about.
This month,
All right, so this is a rally Trump did in Michigan a few hours ago. So let's see what's up with this. Hey, what up, everyone? Hope you're all having a good Monday out there. Thanks for tuning in, sharing your opinions, criticisms, concerns, insights, information, whatever it may be. So appreciate anyone that's interacting. Hope you're all having a good Monday out there. And please hit the like button. Thank you.
America's 250th anniversary, and I want to recognize the people who built this country, like the talented and dedicated team members with us today. We employ more people than any other automaker in the U.S., and we will spend more than $16 billion this year on manufacturing and research and development. This reflects our continued strong commitment to the United States. So thank you all for being here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
All right, keep in mind, folks, every single person that's in this crowd is all paid to be there. None of them want to be there. Oh, and another thing. Everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is not going to be nothing but utter lies. The only reason we're watching this is to fact check him on his bullshit and clown his ass. Let's put our own music to this.
And I'm proud to be an American where healthcare isn't free. And we send all of our money to the Israelis, and I proudly stand up. Wait, I can't, lost my leg to diabetes. Ain't no doubt, can't afford this land. I'll be rent eternally. And I'm proud to be an American where healthcare isn't free. And we send all of our money to the Israelis, and I proudly stand up. Wait, I can't, lost my leg to diabetes. Ain't no doubt, can't afford this land. I'll be rent eternally.
Is the song still going?
Proud to be an American where healthcare isn't free. And we send all of our money to the Israelis, and I proudly stand up. Wait, I can't, lost my leg to diabetes. Ain't no doubt, can't afford this land. I'll be rent eternally. And I'm proud to be an American where healthcare isn't free. And we send all of our money to the Israelis, and I proudly stand up. Wait, I can't, lost my leg to diabetes. Ain't no doubt, can't afford this land. I'll be rent eternally. And I'm proud to be an American where healthcare isn't free. And we send all of our money.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. much. It's an honor to be back. I love this place. I won this place. It's beautiful. This beautiful state. We won by a lot. Great to be back in Michigan, and hello to the men and women of General Motors. And before we begin, I have to say, so I had a wonderful father, right? And he was a hard worker. He was in the real estate business. And for him, super luxury. This is the only way. He didn't want planes. He didn't have planes in those days, I don't think. He didn't want anything. You know what he wanted? A Cadillac every 2 years. This was to him the sign of luxury. This was the greatest thing. And he got every 2 years, like you could count on it. You could set your clocks by it. By the way, speaking of that, let's get rid of daylight saving time stuff. We have a bill in. Hopefully the Senate's going to approve that one. The House approved it, and we're going to get rid of that. Just to mention, it's called the weave, right? We always get back to the right subject. But anyway, I did. I had a father, his luxury Mary, his super, that's all he wanted. He just wanted a brand new Cadillac, and I have to tell you this, he had it stretched a little bit. This way he could be his own chauffeur. He wouldn't have to hire a chauffeur. He could drive it himself, or he could have somebody else, but he could also drive it himself. Did you ever hear that? This could be a new concept for a car. But I had a wonderful father, and he loved Cadillac, and I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state, and I'm honored to be the first sitting president to visit one of the most storied places in the history of American auto making, and that's the world famous General Motors Proving Ground. And we just got back. We watched some cars, and they are beautiful cars, but I was very also impressed with, that was the largest piece of asphalt I think I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of big asphalt, but I've never seen one that big. I said, you gotta be kidding. But over 100 years, General Motors carved a 5.5-mile test track out of Michigan earth and built a crucible for American cars that would change the world. And that's what happened. You've changed the world, and maybe more importantly, you have made a comeback like very few companies. You are doing really well, and Mary and your whole group have done a fantastic job. They love their cars. One of the top executives I just met who showing, he said, sir, I just love the cars. I just love these cars. And I thought that was nice. This land bears the tire marks of every model of the legendary Chevy Corvette. It bears the scars of the first auto safety test, and that was probably pretty tough. And ever since the presidency of the late, great Ronald Reagan, who in all fairness, who I liked, but he did allow our cars to disappear into Japan and other locations. We cannot do it. We love him. But on trade, Trump is much better. Much better. But this facility is proudly designed, built, and tested the presidential limousine, affectionately known as the Beast. Have you heard of it, Mr. Mayor? I want to thank the CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, as well as the president, Mark Royce, and the entire leadership team. Mark, really great job. The whole leadership team, the job that you've done over the last number of years especially has been incredible. And it's a display of speed and skill. Horsepower goes into these cars, and everyone's talking about General Motors, including me. That's why I'm here. And more importantly, thank you to the auto workers, the technicians, the mechanics, the welders, the engineers of General Motors, because there's no finer group of people. And it was workers like you who built this country, and now it's the men and women like you who are making it bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. We are doing unbelievably well as a country. We're building more auto factories and more plants than at any time in the history of our country. And someday the fake news is going to be writing stories about it. They don't like to write those stories. That's why they call it the fake news. But for decades, the auto workers and manufacturers of this great state were sold out and betrayed by globalist politicians and corrupt special interests who let other countries steal your jobs, pillage your factories, and loot the crown jewels of American industry from Detroit and all over our country. They were ripping us off, not only in the auto business, but in many other businesses. Every president before me promised to stop it, but none of them did anything. They did nothing. But now, at long last, Michigan finally has a president who stands up for Michigan auto workers, puts America first. You know, you had a leader, I don't know if he's still with you, Sean Fain or something. This guy was bad news. I never spoke to him, never saw him. He was a Democrat. He thought that Biden or Kamala would be wonderful. You would have, Mary, I hate to say it, you wouldn't have an auto industry right now if they got elected. You wouldn't have an auto industry. But I don't know what happened to the guy. Somebody said he got fired, but I can tell you, the people that count, those people love Trump. Because I've done more for you than your parents, okay? Your parents are good. I'm not going to knock your parents, but I have been better to you than your parents. That I can tell you, and they would agree with me. Wherever they may be, they would agree. Today, I'm proud to say that the auto industry is back, and America is back, and it's pulling Detroit and Michigan along with it. Our country is so successful, it's pulling it along, but you have some great representatives that are going to become governor, senator, congressman, women, but you have some great people. I'm going to mention them in a second, because under Sleepy Joe Biden, hold it. What's better, Sleepy Joe Biden or Crooked Joe Biden? Let's go. Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden. They're both true. They're both very true. The United States had the highest trade deficit ever recorded. So we had the worst trade deficit, and our country was losing more than $1 trillion a year on trade every single year, and it got worse and worse. And if they were in there now, that number would be close to $2 trillion. The trade deficit in automobiles was more than $300 billion annually. That means outside countries and companies were coming in and just robbing us blind. And it was causing tremendous problems for you jobs. But now all of that is changing because I placed historic tariffs on foreign producers and manufacturers, including a 25% tariff on foreign automobiles, something that no other president had the courage to ever do. He's a communist. He's a communist. Thank you. He's a communist. We're running against communists. That is great. What's going on? We're going to win very big. No, I didn't even hear the guy. I thought, you see what they want to do? You see what they want to do? They want to take your houses. They want to do things that nobody's ever even thought of before. They want to take your money. They want to raise your tax up to 80%. I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, so we'll keep it there. And I said this morning, they also want to fire the police. They don't want police and they don't want prisons anymore. I think that's a great idea. Does everybody like that idea? No police. They want no police and they want no prisons. Where are these people coming from? But I also put a 25% tariff on all foreign trucks. So I called Mary about a year ago and I said, I hear that foreign trucks are killing us. She said, that's true. I said, congratulations. I'm going to put a 25% tariff on the foreign trucks. And you are doing a phenomenal business now with trucks.
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, Hitchum? What's up, Peggy? What's up, Eric Klein? What's up, Travis? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Loki Mata? What's up, News Troll? How you doing? What up, Aunt Esther? What up, J-Pot Lover? What's up, YouTubeville homies? Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Thanks for tuning in for this YouTubeville watch party where we can all get together and make fun of Trump.
So
and fact check him on all his bullshit
President Trump,
and reform these maggots while we're at it.
are we killing them? My policy is simple. If you make your truck or your car in a foreign country, you have to pay for the privilege of sending it into our market and making a lot of money. But if you build in a factory in Michigan or someplace in our country and make your automobiles or trucks right here in America, you pay zero taxes, zero tariff. You pay zero tariff. There are no tariffs. And we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars for the country aside from it, but we keep a lot. As an example, Europe is being taken over by the Chinese cars. You know that, right? Mercedes-Benz is being absolutely decimated. BMW, good company. Decimated, Volkswagen decimated. They don't do anything about it. We don't have, to the best of my knowledge, Mary, one Chinese car in the country. They have 100% tariff, and our automakers are doing, I think, business like you've never done before, right? Right? You're doing more business, better business, bigger business than you've ever done before. In 18 months, we've slashed our trade deficit with China by the largest amount in history. Nobody can believe it. You know, if you get it down half a point, it's a lot. We got our trade deficit down by 71%. 71% worldwide. 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. Everybody is respecting us. You know, they respect us again. They respect the United States. I think they respect us more than they've ever. And we did this in a year and a half. In 4 long years of sleepy Joe Biden and his crazy administration, they're communists. They were communists. That was the beginning. He wasn't, because he had no idea what the hell was happening. They said, Joe, let's go communist. He said, what is that exactly? They got less than $1 trillion. So think of it. In 4 years, they had investment of less than $1 trillion. 4 years, less than $1 trillion. In 1 year, my administration secured commitments of more than $19.2 trillion from all over the globe. Think of it. 1 year, 19.2. If they got in, and they were essentially, they didn't think of themselves as communists, but they were. But now you have down and out communists. I mean, these people are down and out. And remember, you go communist, nothing good happens. That's been proven for 1,000 years using different names. But right here in Michigan, General Motors is expanding operations, and it's Factory Zero. Do you know what Factory Zero is? What the hell does that mean, Mary? Factory Zero. You can have these. In Detroit to produce some of America's most iconic vehicles, including the Chevy, well, I hear it's good, Silverado, right? Silverado, really hot, right? It's going to be hotter after today. The GMC Sierra, the world famous Hummer. I got to look at some of these. In fact, I said to Mary, how about send me a couple? And one and only the Escalade. You know, we ordered, I think, 250 Escalades, right? We ordered 250 Escalades. That's how we look sharp in those cavalcades, you know? We look sharp in those Escalades. Our guys are very spoiled. They're very spoiled. They like the Escalade, so do I. They were great to deal with. General Motors are making literally 250 of them, and it was about time. In 2026, GM increased truck and SUV production by 20%, and in the past 2 years, the company's invested $9 billion in bringing factories home to the USA. They're coming back home because, frankly, when they build here, there's no tariff. It's really not complicated. A lot of people don't understand that. They say, oh, what does it mean? They have no idea. They don't have a clue. But Mary understood it. Her whole group understood it, and they're coming back home where they belong. So I just want to congratulate General Motors. That's why I'm here today. I'm very proud of General Motors. For years, you watch companies move production from America down to Mexico. Mexico. I love the way there's a very nice president of Mexico. You know that. Very nice, and she speaks beautifully, and she calls it Mexico. So I said to a group the other day, and we will stop all business going to Mexico. And they didn't know what the hell I was talking about. It didn't come out as well, Sean. It didn't come out as well. He's a great gentleman, heads up transportation. He's also world championship tree climber, 5-time champion tree climber. Can you imagine? I only hired these crazy people to do things like that. He was the lumberjack. He was the world champion going up a tree 100 feet, right? That's high. I saw an old picture of you doing it. I said, he's crazy. That's why I like him. But he's a 5-time world champion. You know who that is. So, and his wife maybe is even superior, big star of television, Rachel. She's doing all right. Sean Duffy, Rachel Campus Duffy. But you know, I liked him a lot. I always liked him. But when I heard he was a world champion of a tree, but any kind of world champion, I'm okay with. When you're a world champion of anything, but that's pretty good. But down in Mexico, and they're coming back, and production's moving from Mexico, and companies are actually moving production from Mexico back to America. Before they left, they went the other way. Now they're all coming back. Toyota, Hyundai, and others are relocating production back to the U.S. Ford is investing $3 billion to build parts of its new pickup truck in central Michigan. And all these things I told you, but only Brian. Where's Brian? Come here. Get up here, Brian, will you please? He's the only guy that believed me. But boy, did he believe me. I wanted to just hop over. Come on, don't worry about it, Secret Service. He's okay. Come on up here, Brian. See the way he can do that? Look at that. He evaded Secret. I'm sure they're thrilled. Let me say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, we can thank this gentleman right here for all these jobs coming back, and I hear it all the time from all my connections and all the different auto plants around the Metro Detroit area. Jobs are coming back to America. You know, Kamala Harris was running against this guy when he ran for re-election.
Notice how nobody cheered?
What?
Donald Trump's just nothing but lies.
Get rid of
His diaper's so full of crap, it's coming out of his mouth.
internal combustion engine, and crazy Sean Fain endorsed her. So we've got to change the mindset. We've got to build, if they want to sell in our market, they got to build it in our market. And that's what this guy told them. So thank you, Mr. President. It's because of you. You saved our domestic auto industry. Thank you.
Look at the arms of that guy. I don't know. He's been with me from day one. The first time he said years ago. And I think I produced, Brian, would you say I produced even more than I said, right? Exceeded estimates. We like that. Thank you, Brian. He's a great guy, and he's got a group of followers that are unbelievable. Where are they? Oh, yeah, there they are. He's got a great group of people, but for decades, we were told that it was totally impossible to bring back American manufacturing. Obama would say, remember Barack Hussein Obama? He was so bad for the auto industry. I don't know, honestly, I don't know how you vote for Democrats because they are so bad for the industry. But it turned out that all you really needed to get him back was a new president, somebody that understood business, understood what it was all about. I've been complaining about it for many years. On day one, I ended Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate that would have crushed the U.S. auto industry forever, would have never come back. Remember that? Everybody was supposed to have an electric car within, 15 minutes. And I don't want to say this in front of Mary because she'll change your mind, but it takes far fewer people to build an electric car. That doesn't mean they work better, but it takes. And if you want an electric car, they make electric cars too. But if you want to buy a combustion, if you want to buy anything you want, they make. We don't want to do that stuff. But Right now, we've been right on that bet. I said, no, it's not going to happen that way. I terminated Biden's disastrous cafe fuel standards. You know what that is? That was a short road to bankruptcy for every single car company in this country and a total disaster that would have killed the internal combustion engine. They wanted it dead within 5 years. As long as I'm president, that will never happen, but it's going in the opposite direction. Remember, we have 1,000-year supply of gasoline. China doesn't. We have 1,000 years. We have more gasoline. We have more oil. Now, when you add Venezuela to it, we really have more oil. One day.
This dude just admitted to war crimes, to stealing.
And Venezuela's been great. They've been doing a great job. We're working with them. Take millions and millions of barrels of oil. But they're doing well and we're doing well. One day, a lot of people were against that war. We don't want the Venezuela. Why are you doing what you did after we won in about 48 minutes approximately? They said, oh, that was a good move. Well, the same thing's happening in Iran. People just don't see it. We have destroyed their Navy. We've destroyed their Air Force. We've destroyed their leadership. We've destroyed their anti-aircraft weaponry. Their drones are being made at a rate of about 7%. We destroyed most of their drone manufacturing capability, their missile manufacturing capability. And right now they're talking to us about making a deal. But if we didn't do it tough, there would be no talk. For 47 years, which is really 50 because people have been using 47 years for 3 years at least. But for 47 to 50 years, they have been talking, and all they do is tap everyone along. They were the bully of the Middle East, and they were the bully of us. And Obama came along and gave them tens of billions of dollars. He gave them $1.7 billion in green cash. Remember that? Put them on a Boeing 757, flew it to Tehran. $1.7 billion in green. He thought he could bribe them, and instead they thought, what a stupid country this is. How stupid. No, you can't bribe them. You got to beat them, and we're beating the hell out of them. But we'll see how it turns out. Right now, there are very friendly negotiations going on. And by the way, how good is our Navy with a blockade? Now, one boat gets it. We have a blockade. They'd love us to, please, we don't want the blockade anymore. They say, please, please, no blockade. And I approve the single largest deregulatory action in American history, repealing what is known as the endangerment finding, which will save American families an average of almost $3,000 on new cars, SUVs, and trucks. What a difference. And today I'm giving all American car companies the right to build what are known as tiny cars. You know what that is? Because I go over to Europe and I see these little cars all over the place. And I say, why aren't we making them? They send some over. But Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, has just cleared it. I was with him on the plane. I said, Sean, did you clear that? No, sir, not.
Oh, gosh. Sean Duffy, another incompetent cabinet member that's just nothing but a failed reality star guy.
I want it done now. Oh, it's done. He knows what. He's very smart. He's a very smart guy. No, but you're all clear, Sean?
Just like Pete Kegsbreth.
Your company, Mary, if you want, I mean, you have the choice. It's a tiny little, beautiful little car. I'm not sure I want to get hit by one of your Silverados, okay? Or one of your Cadillacs, but you'll make a mistake.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But the 50 thou. But the Dow is 50 thou. But the Dow, though, is 50 thou.
Possible, right? You put a cocoon. You put a little cocoon around them. See, I would have been a wonderful automobile designer. But you have the right to do it. And they sell, inexpensively. They're actually beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to be using one. I'm not sure if Secret Service would let me driving around in one. But there's a tremendous market for it, I think. It really is a tremendous market. They are quite something. And thanks to our Republican majorities in Congress, we also made interest on auto loans fully tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. If it's not made in America, We have no interest in doing that.
Yeah, this guy's probably never had a license in his life. He's over here like driving Miss Daisy.
And I apologize for the air conditioning, but this room was not built for thousands of people. This room was built for a few people making cars, not for thousands of people. And it is a little warm up here, but I love that because every time I make a speech, I lose weight. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful way to lose weight. Under our leadership, investment is booming, incomes are rising, and the stock market has 73 all-time highs. Think of that. In a year and a half, we've had an all-time high. And your 401ks are up by $32,000 and more in just a year. And one statistic that I say, because, the fake news, the reason they're fake news, they're terrible people in many cases, not in all cases, you have some professionals, but they refuse to say there are more Americans working today in the United States of America than at any time in history. How about that? That's, to me, that's a stat that's hard to beat. And it was just announced that inflation is dropping at the fastest rate in more than 6 years. We're dropping it. I inherited this mess. I inherited an open border where 25 million people came in. Many of these people were criminals, murderers, people from jails, people from mental institutions. I inherited that. We've got a lot of them out, and we're getting a lot of them out. We have 11,888 are murderers, many of whom, they say more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. We don't want them in this country. They allowed them to come in through the stupid open border. They came in like water, you've seen it. And right now, it was just announced, again, this is now the 15th month in a row, 0 people have come through our border illegally. 0. When it all started, I won the election. We won in a landslide, by the way, and won this state so big. There's always a hard state. I don't know why it's hard to win, but it seems to be for Republicans, but it probably won't be anymore. We have great candidates. But, it's really amazing. They always try and blame me for high prices. I have my first news conference. I win, have a news conference like a day later. And I say, any questions? Why are prices so high? You have to understand. I just got there. They say eggs. I remember eggs. Eggs were like 4 or 5 times higher than they were a few years ago. You couldn't get eggs. They wanted me to use plastic eggs for the Easter egg hunt because they were unable to get eggs. And I said, we'll take care of it. We got it taken care of quickly. Now eggs are much lower than they were when we first started. And that's true with everything else. And you'll see how true it's going to be after we get rid of the nuclear threat of Iran, which will be very quickly. But I had nothing to do with it. They have this term. So here I am. I'm 1 day in office, and the fake news goes, affordability. I said, what's affordability? What's that all about? Prices are too high. I said, we're here for less than 24 hours. But we brought down prices last week. It was announced that inflation's gone down faster than at any time in the last 6 years. When the fuel comes down, which it did for a little while, then they didn't behave, and I had to go back, and now they're behaving again. It's like playing a banjo. But every day we're fighting to put more money in your pockets, and that's what we're doing, and we're doing it better than anyone. At the same time, we're making this country safe, because we're not going to let lunatics have a nuclear weapon. You want to see disruption? You want to see some disruption? But with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, I proudly signed the largest tax cuts in American history for the second time. Because in my first term, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We got hit with COVID at the end, but we did a great job in that. Operation Warp Speed and the whole thing. We did a great job. Didn't get credit, but that's okay. But we had the greatest economy in the history of the country. And we're blowing it away this time. We're blowing it away. You're going to see the results very soon. I'm a little bit upset because in 2.5 years, you may have a different president. May. And that president will be saying how great the economy is doing. Look at all the jobs that he produced. We have more factories being built than at any time in our country's history. They're all going to be opening now and soon. And I got some guy or woman who is going to take credit for that.
Hey, what's up, Sputnik? I don't know what to tell you except cry harder and cope. Hope you're having a good Monday.
Please remember that I did it, okay? I did it. I did it. I'll be sitting home. I'll be reading the papers. I'll be watching television. And I'll be having some guy like last time, a real idiot, stand up, say, we are doing record business. We are making more automobiles. But by the way, don't worry about it, Mary. They'll screw it up. It won't take them long to screw it up. But we're not going to let that happen. Our great, big, beautiful bill gave us no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, right? That's our big deal. And the overtime you're working, and I don't know much, but I know you're making a lot of cars, more than you've ever made before. I assume, are they getting a little overtime there? She doesn't want to say it. She is. I know you are. No tax on that overtime. Think of the no tax on tips in Nevada. I went and a young lady came over, a beautiful waitress. She was a waitress and very beautiful, but I'm not allowed to say that politically. Because if you call somebody beautiful, that's usually the end of your political career. But she happened to be beautiful. And I say, what's going on? Oh, sir, I'm getting killed with tips. Sir, there should be no tax on tips. I say, what? I'm sitting down with a group of people, very boring group. We're all bored. At my hotel in Las Vegas, and she comes up and she says, sir, there should be no tax on tips. I say it one more time. And I went outside and I spoke to the fake news that follow me all over the world looking for me to make one little mistake. If I make one little mistake, if I mispronounce a word, which doesn't happen often, if I fell, they're waiting. They would love to. Because I knock. You can't fall every single time you come up on a day. It's like Biden did. Oh, if I slipped even a little bit, it would be headlines all over the world. So I'm very careful, very judicious as I walk down the airline. See, you're way the hell up in the sky. I go nice and slowly. We don't want to give them, but it's true. It's like what they do. I mean, it's so unfair. But they know how well we're doing, and now they're starting to report it because they have no choice. Because every record that's being broken, all these records that are coming out, not only in your business, we're leading in AI. We're beating China in AI. Nobody expected that. We're building more plants than anybody in the world. And frankly, the businesses are all moving. Many of these businesses, they left here and they went to foreign countries. They went to Germany. They went to Mexico and Canada. They went to Japan. They went to South Korea, car businesses, a lot of businesses. And now they're coming back home where they belong. And according to a report released just last week, the great, big, beautiful bill saved more than 170,000 Michigan jobs. You saw that. Think of that. If you took 170,000 people off of your tax-paying payrolls, think of how many people that is. Filling a big stadium up 3 times. But remember, every single Democrat, it's a new word that I use, Democrat, they just exchange the E to the U. It works out quite nicely, thank you. But they're Democrats. They want open borders. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender mutilization of your children. They want the transgender mutilization of your children for everyone. So I call them Democrats. And the Democrats don't want to have voter ID. And the Democrats do not, Brian, you know this, they don't want to have a thing called proof of citizenship. So why doesn't somebody want voter ID or proof of citizenship? Because they want to cheat, okay? There's only one reason. Actually, most Democrats do want it. It's only the politicians because they could never get elected. If that ever gets approved, they will never get elected again. But every single Democrat in Congress voted against our massive tax cuts for working families. All of the things, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, all of these things they voted against. They just voted against. They voted against voter ID. They voted in favor of the transgender mutilization of your children, in favor of men playing in women's sports. I've looked at men playing in women's sports. It's very unfair. I had a one of the top NFL football players standing next to a wonderful female athlete, and they were playing a game of football. If you can believe this whole thing, this game did not work out very well. This was not a game that she would want to play again, I would think. The whole thing is crazy. There's something wrong. These people are crazy, and we can't let them get into office and ruin our country. We can't do it. And the congressional Democrats voting for tax hikes. They're voting for open borders. The Green New Scam remember the Green New Scam? Everything had to be green. The world is going to collapse. It's going to be gone. 15 years ago, they were saying we only had 12 years left, but we're still here. But they're siding with the radical left communists taking over the party. They want, in other words, the normal socialists who can destroy your country too. They're not going fast enough. Do you remember, like in one of my State of the Union speeches, I said, we will never be a socialist country. But I was right. We're going to be a communist country. That's what they want. They skipped socialism. Can you believe it? But communism is the greatest threat to our country in history, including even World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or 9/11. I mean, this is a serious threat because they're going to promise all sorts of things. In 1 year, the country will be absolutely bankrupt. You'll live in squalor. You'll live in fear. You won't have police. You won't have firemen. You won't have anybody. You're going to be, it's a disaster. Even the thought of it is a disaster. And we have the hottest country in the world. We don't want to have it, and we have to be strong about it. We can't be nice. You know, a lot of the Republicans are nice. We're a very nice party. We shouldn't be so nice, to be honest with you. But we can't let them get their claws into this incredible, they call it an experiment. I don't think it's any longer an experiment. This has been going on for a long time. We are good years, bad years. We're having the single greatest year we've ever had as a country. We're not going to let these people destroy it. And you know the other thing, I'm just thinking now, I do a lot of these speeches and I end up reading about 20%. Isn't it nice to know that you have somebody that doesn't have to read a speech? And it's even better to know that you have somebody that can read a speech if he wants to. The other guy couldn't even read a speech. But I'm just thinking about it. This is maybe going to make news because I've never said it. I'm just thinking about now, when they take something over, it's always dirty. The sidewalks are dirty. The people are, I hate to say this, not clean, okay? The curbs are loaded with you know what? The smell is terrible. I mean, I see it happening to cities. Blue cities are all blue. They're all blue. We don't have problems with the Republican-run cities, I mean, for the most part. But they're dirty. I said to somebody about a certain city, I don't want to say the name of it, but it's run by the radical left. I said, how is it doing? Because I love it. And they said, it's filthy dirty. It's so dirty, they've never seen it like that. It's so filthy dirty. And I just thought of it. Nobody ever says that. I'm sort of a clean freak. I like clean. Do you ever see Washington, D.C.? Do you see Washington? What happened? Washington, D.C., it was filthy. Graffiti all over the place. We fixed up 72 monuments and fountains, and we've done an unbelievable, we took the graffiti off the beautiful marble columns. We have new grass going down. But you know what we did the best? We stopped crime in Washington. It's down 88%. And we moved out over 5,000 career animals. We moved them out, and it's really considered a very safe city. All the restaurants were closing up. Nobody wanted to operate a restaurant. We have a great restaurant here. Where are you from? Michigan. Where's my restaurateur? He was one of the great. Where's Mark? Mark, you're right. How'd you get such a good seat? He's a great restaurateur, but everything you have is clean. But it's true. And I'm just saying, they take over. Everything becomes disgusting and dirty. It's dirty and filthy and grimy. It's not clean anymore. Look at Washington, D.C., what I've done in a short period of time, working with the Department of Interior, Doug Burgum, and the whole group. We have done some job. We've taken graffiti-filled statues all over the city, and monuments, waterfalls, everything, the beautiful reflecting pond where we did some job. Somebody comes along and starts cutting it with a knife. They're sick. It's in the hospital now, but it's going to get better very soon. It's almost ready to open. We could have kept it that way for a while, but I didn't want to do that. I want to have it fixed perfectly. But these people are very terrible. But think how beautiful Washington, D.C. is. But the most important thing is we have very little crime. And there's a statistic that's incredible. 2% of the people create 91% of the crime, because you can handle 2% of the people. We get them out. And our military, our National Guard has been unbelievable. And they work with the DC police. But they've been unbelievable. So I just want to thank them. But Washington, D.C. is now, again, and it's going to get only better. It's going to get all new grass. The parks are getting all new grass. I have a man who's a fantastic man, one of the biggest grass growers. I know everybody. I know grass growers. But he's actually a very rich guy. He wants to fix up the parks, all brand new grass. We're going to do our job. He donated the grass for the White House. We're building a heliport, and we're building a drone port, and we're building a great ballroom and a military facility as part of it. And it's incredible. And people cannot believe how it looks. Washington, D.C., think of it, is now a really safe city, and it's so beautiful again, and people are proud of it. It's our capital. They have to be proud of it. It was a crime-ridden mess. And the other thing, I got a call from the governor of Louisiana, and he said, "Sir, we have Mardi Gras coming up in New Orleans. Could you please help us? We are such a disaster. The crime is so bad." And they've had a lot of problems with crime. And I sent our team in there and called me back. He said, crime is down almost 80%. Think of that, almost 80%. This was 8 months ago. And they had the safest Mardi Gras they've ever had. And in Memphis, Tennessee, the governor called, and the mayor called, the Democrat mayor called, that they need help. And Memphis was very, very dangerous. Companies were leaving. Too much danger. It was really dangerous. You couldn't walk down the street. And now crime there is down 77%, and it's getting better all the time. And if they do that in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, we would take care of it so quickly. But we have to get called. I want them to call us. I don't want to say, I don't want to. They're running it. I want them to call us, and we will get rid of the crime so quickly your head will spin. But we're pleased to be joined today by some of the incredible patriots fighting for Michigan workers, including representatives, a friend of mine, she's unbelievable, Lisa McClain. Stand up, Lisa. Great. She's great. She is great. And she's tough, too, I want to tell you. I'm not going to say she comes in a small body, but she comes with one house. She comes with fire and brimstone, right, Lisa? And we love Lisa, respected by everybody. Tim Wahlberg. Tim, great. 18 years he's been doing it, and everybody.
Hey, what's up, News Troll? Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to do another no-bid contract to one of his Mar-a-Lago buddies for installing, AstroTurf for $200 million or something ridiculous like that.
Respects you a lot. Thank you, Tim, very much. Appreciate it. Another congressman who's doing really, really good. He's going to have a tough race.
He'll probably do gold AstroTurf too.
Help him. Tom Barrett. He's here someplace. Where's Tom? Tom? Come on up, you three. Would you come up, Lisa? Come on up. And John James, come up. You have to win, John James. You have to win.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Living Dead Girl? How's it going? Hope you're doing well.
I also want to thank Secretary of Transportation.
Oh, is that right? Is that what happens? When does it happen? At the end of this?
Sean Duffy. Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall. Army National Guard Captain Mike Bouchard. Where's your father, Mike? Where's your father? Where's Mike? I just met your father. He's the best looking Police, where's Mike? You want to come up? Come up here. Come here. Your father's so proud of you standing, and he had more medals than anybody I've ever seen. He's saying, my son is doing good, sir. I said, he is doing good. Navy veteran, Amir Hassan. He's a congressional candidate. We got to get elected. He's good. Thank you, Amir. And Amir comes from a great General Motors family, a long line of General Motors and former congressman. So here's a man who's running for the Senate. I happen to think he won last time, okay? He's a great guy, and he is respected all over Washington. He's one of the best candidates we have anywhere. He's smart, he's tough, he's fair. His name is Mike Rogers, and he will be a great senator. Mike, come on. Come on, I'll let a couple of them say a couple of words. I'll be right back. Is that okay? Come on up here, Mike.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for gracing your presence here at the General Motors facility and bringing jobs back. Yeah, you bet. Imagine if, Mr. President, you have a senator that cares about much about manufacturing, especially in Michigan, than you do. That's a change we absolutely need. And when I get back there, Mr. President, I promise you this. I will work with you to protect our families, protect our freedoms, protect our factories, protect our finances. And when I get back there, Mr. President, if you haven't gotten it done, we're going to pass the SAVE Act. Save America. God bless you.
Well, again, thank you, Mr. President, for coming back to Michigan, where you've won 3 times. We very much appreciate your lead.
Man, these maggots ain't gonna pass no SAVE Act. They ain't gonna pass shit. Save the Maggot Act. The only thing they're gonna pass is a whiff of Donald Trump's diaper.
And as governor of the state of Michigan, we're going to be matching those Trump accounts. We're going to be taking care of our children. We're going to be matching those. You know, we have a president who keeps his promises. We have a president who looked at a situation and he said, you're going to have very fast planes in Macomb County. You know what he did? In the very first 100 days, the president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, delivered F-15EX to Self-Reserve National Guard Base. The president has always been looking out for Michigan jobs. The status quo doesn't work for Michigan. And President Trump is pushing back. And as a result, President Trump signed my bill to protect our automotive industry against the harmful California EV mandates. And as a result, our jobs are coming back to Michigan. But most importantly, the president is the best deal maker the planet has ever known. President Donald Trump has gotten $19 trillion of investment back in the United States of America. But because of the failed policies of Gretchen Whitmer, a lot of that investment is not coming back here. We're working with you, Mr. President. We're going to make sure that we have an environment where we can bring that investment back to the state of Michigan to create jobs right here for the best auto workers in the world. Thank you so much for your leadership, Mr. President. God bless you. We have your back.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming back to Michigan, and thank you for putting our men and women who build things first and foremost in the American economy. Thank you for being here today with the men and women that I have the privilege of representing in Congress to tell them and show them just how important Michigan is on the map. The hard work of the people here put America on wheels, puts our economy on overdrive, and provides livelihoods for families across our country, especially right here in Michigan. Manufacturing is our largest industry. Our president understands that. He's stepping up every single day to make sure that we bring more manufacturing jobs back to America, back here to Michigan, and I'm proud to stand with you today, sir, in recognition of that.
I already know there's gonna be a MAGA cult member saying, well, why you got to make this about race, man? Well, here's the answer to that.
You can't drink out this water fountain because you're black. You can't go to this school because you're black. We're not going to hire you because you're black. If if we hire you, we gonna pay you less because you black. My family used to own your family because you black. You have to sit at the back of the bus because you black. You have to have a different part of the movie theater because you black. I'm gonna shoot you on camera and get away with it because you black. I'm gonna follow you around this store because you black. We gonna lower the property value of your neighborhood because you black. We gonna call you names on Xbox Live because you black. I don't like it that you cosplaying that character because you black. I don't like seeing people like you in anime because y'all black. Why the fuck do you all keep making everything about race? Everything is about race with you.
Thank you so much for coming to Michigan again today.
Talk about the American dream. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan, the birthplace of General Motors. Son of a father, a grandfather, a grandmother, an aunt, an uncle that all work for General Motors. Son of an educator. Protecting America, getting back to the fundamentals and the foundation that made us great in the beginning. That's what we're doing this cycle. The contrast is clear, the time is now. If you love America, make noise. If you believe in first responders, make some noise. If you back our military, make some noise. And if you're proud to be a conservative,
USA, let's go, baby. We are putting this country back on the map because we have a leader who stands up for us. Mr. President, thank you for coming to Michigan, but I also have to say thank you for defending our military and putting us in a position to succeed. This time last year, I was in Iraq. During the 12-day war, you put our military in a position to succeed because you gave the troops what we needed to survive. So my friends that are home, sir, because you put us first. You put Michigan first as well. It took 47 years to stand up and say lunatics can't have nuclear weapons. It also took decades to reshore jobs. Reshoring jobs wasn't a thing that we talked about before President Trump came back. Now jobs are coming back to Michigan because we have leaders to stand up for us. We need to win this election in November so we can keep growing. Thank you, Mr. President. Let's go, Michigan.
I didn't bring my box, so I apologize. But take a moment and look around. Look at how many people are filling this manufacturing facility. And why is that? That is because we love this country. And I'm going to share with you, if you love this country, you have got to get out there and make some noise. You have got to get out there and vote. You have got to get out there and tell your friends, your neighbors, anybody who will listen, that this is an election between common sense and communist crazy. And the leader of our party, President Donald J. Trump, isn't resting on his laurels. Promises made, promises kept. He told you he was going to secure the border. What did he do? He secured the border. He told you he was going to make his tax cuts permanent. And what did he do? He made your tax cuts permanent. The last thing we need to do is make sure we pass that Save America Act. And we will do that because we will secure our elections to make sure that this country can.
I got a clip of Fox News right here. So here's a clip of Fox News, what MAGA cult members watch.
The Iran war was started by trans athletes using Hunter Biden's laptop. We'll have the details we just made up right after this. The new scandal rocking the White House. Is President Trump too sexy? Later on, we fact-check the president's speech. Just kidding, we don't do that here. Coming up, are alarm clocks woke? Separate drinking fountains. Can we bring them back? One Supreme Court justice says yes. And later, bullying. It's a problem in our schools. There's just not enough of it. Are Bernie Sanders and Colonel Sanders gay married? Coming up, we'll tell you how the mayor of New York is forcing everyone by law to become Muslim, but only if they're white. Coming up, why billionaires are above the law, and that's a good thing. We'll be right back after these commercials for bedpans and catheters.
All right, so that's pretty much what MAGA cult members watch.
To live in a democracy, to continue to be a republic, because there is nobody that loves this country greater than the man standing behind me. And that's our president, Donald J. Trump.
I never want to go behind Lisa, that's for sure. But as dean of the Michigan delegation, you can see why I'm proud of this delegation. And the ones that we're going to bring to this delegation, and even one we're going to bring to finally be an ally over on the other side of the House, that little body over in the Senate, a guy we can talk to who understands America, who supports this president, that is eminently supportable.
MAGA's got Jim Jones syndrome.
We say that out today. I'm also chair of the Education and Workforce Committee. We have a president who understands workforce. That's why he's here with all of us. He understands education. That is not indoctrination for communist crazy. And that's what we're seeing today. So let me say this to you as chair of the Education Workforce Committee. We're here today trying to educate you, to educate others, to get out and work, to get this team in place so the final 2 years of this president, maybe final 2 years of this president, will be so memorable that we won't need to worry about the future. Let's get out and work as a workforce for freedom. Thank you very much. What a group. Thank you very much. That's a great group. We got to get them elected. Also with us is the mayor of Hamtramck, Amir Khalib. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And Mark, thank you very much for being here. Mark Zarkin, a great guy. And a man who's been with me from the very beginning. Again, I have to do it because this guy has been like, he got it a long time ago, Brian. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Especially, he has been he got it right from day one, so we don't forget that. 18 months ago, we inherited a catastrophe from the Biden and from the radical left Democrats. They created the worst inflation in 48 years, wide open borders with millions and millions of people from mental institutions, insane asylums, the world's worst prisons pouring into our country from all over the world they came. They came from South America, they came from the Congo, they came from places from all over the world. We had transgender for everybody, men playing in women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a stupid nation. They called us a stupid nation. But they're not laughing anymore. America is respected again, I think, like we've never been respected before. You saw I went to the G20, I went to the G7, I went wherever we go, they're looking at us as the real leader again. For a long time that hadn't taken place. Under our leadership, we're making the largest ever investment in the United States Armed Forces. And right here in Michigan, I got 21 new F-15EX Eagle 2s for Selfridge Air National Guard Base, ensuring that Michigan stays at the cutting edge of North American air power. Selfridge was very, very important. It's a big deal. It was closed. It was over. It was going to be closed. Now it's open. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world by far. We have the greatest people. We have the best equipment in the world. I built it during my first term, and I'm using it now. We had no choice. Again, we can't let what was happening in Venezuela go on. And I was very decisive, but we can't let what was and is going on. They killed 52,000 protesters. Think of it in a 4-month period. 52,000 in Iran. But we've already paid for the Venezuela operation, as I said, and likewise we're winning big time with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're ensuring that they never have a nuclear weapon. When somebody comes up and says, why are we doing this? Just say, because we cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. That's all you have to say. There's nothing else you have to say. If you understood the power of the nuclear weapons, you'd understand exactly what I was saying. When I took office, we inherited the worst border in U.S. history.
but we quickly turned it into the most secure border in the history of our country by far. And in the past 14 months, a number that's not even believable, but it is what it is. It's published every month. A historic record of 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. 0. And now, as you've been reading, crime is plummeting nationwide. Last year, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded to the lowest level in 125 years, 1900. That's before my father. Bring up my father. That's before my father was born. 125 years, lowest murder rate. And that's despite the fact that we have people in this country that shouldn't be here. That's despite that. But a lot of them are being brought out very rapidly. Under my most favored nation policy on drug prices, we're delivering the largest prescription drug price cuts in the history of our country by far, with differences of 400, 500, and even 600%. Nobody can believe it. We were the highest priced for decades, the highest priced in the world for drugs, prescription drugs. And now we're the lowest price in the world. So you think that was, I won't bore you with the way I did it, but no other president was able to do it. I'm not sure they even tried, but all of you have to go out and go to TrumpRx.gov, TrumpRx.gov, and you're going to find that you're going to buy whatever you're looking for at a tiny fraction of what you were paying. To stop the massive theft of taxpayer dollars, we ended Medicaid for illegal immigrants, and we launched the war on fraud, led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance, who's having a tremendous look. We're finding unbelievable levels of fraud. Minnesota, that governor is so crooked. Ilhan Omar with her brother, so crooked. But it's all under very serious investigation. We're finding billions of dollars, billions. In just 18 months, we've turned this country completely around, and it's still, we're going to do still better, but we haven't turned, we're hot. Jobs are up, inflation is down, our border is secure, factories are opening at record levels, investment is booming, Michigan is thriving, America is winning like never before, and again, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. With the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, we will crush violent crime to the lowest levels ever, impose harsh new penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, they're very bad, crack down on Marxist prosecutors, and we will end no cash bail, which really got the crime started more than any other single event. No cash bail. You kill somebody and you walk out. We will pass the Great Healthcare Plan. That's what it's called, the Great Healthcare Plan, to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money directly to you, the people, so that they can buy their own healthcare, which will be much less expensive and be a much better healthcare. Very simple. And the Democrats are fighting us on that one too. They're fighting us as hard as you can fight, because you know what? They happen to be owned by the insurance companies. The insurance companies receive billions of dollars a year. They own the Democrats. And the Democrats, they don't want to debate it. They just want to fight it. And we want to give the money directly to the people, and you go out and you buy your own health care. You get great health care and have lots of money left over. And we will continue to remove dangerous criminals, drug dealers, human traffickers, and child predators from our country. And we will always stand with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol. They are heroes. The abuse they're tackling. If you saw some of the people they have to deal with, if you saw the toughness and the craziness and the, the roughest people really in the world, they were led into our country by Biden and the group. But probably, I don't even know if he knew. I don't even know that he knew people were coming in. I don't think they told him. But they were coming into our country, and they are the roughest people in the world. Remember, they used to say, oh, foreign people don't commit crime. They make our criminals look like babies. It's the only thing good about them. They make our people look like absolute babies. But they are, you don't get rough Trinidad, Nicaragua, the roughest in the world. they cut off people's fingers so they don't make a phone call. You gonna make it?
This guy's so full of shit right here.
Well, I'd like to call the police. Boom, their fingers are gone. These are the roughest people.
What he's really doing is just using his racist dog whistles for his MAGA cult base. That's what he's really doing.
Oh, they're out of here. We've got them largely out of here. We can never let that happen again. We've never let it happen. Single most difficult thing that I've had to work with. And finally, we will pass the Save America Act.
You're 10 times more likely to get harmed by a radical MAGA cult member than you are a hardworking immigrant.
The Senate, hopefully the Senate, call your senators and put pressure on them. We won't get one Democrat senator to get you voter ID with photo. Need a photo, be nice. So okay, good. They want to, if they did ID, which they don't want to do, they don't want a photo. Why don't they want to? At the Democrat National Convention, they had an identification card that was bigger than most of the people's chests. It was hung on a chain with a picture and every fact about this person you can imagine. But for voting, our most sacred thing, you don't need, they say, voter ID. So we want voter photo ID. And we want all voters showing proof of a thing called citizenship. Isn't that nice? You read recently in New Jersey where tremendous numbers of people were found out that they were in the voting rolls totally illegally, and that's all over the country. That's nothing compared to what's going on in California, Minnesota, and so many other states. And hopefully there will be no mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt, except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel. If you're in the military, you're far away, absolutely. If you have to go someplace, absolutely. But mail-in ballots have proven to be a disaster. We're the only country in the world that in this form does them. There's no other country in the world because they're crooked. They pass through too many hands. When you go to a voter booth, even me, I went to vote. Sir, may I please see your identification? Sir, I'm so embarrassed. I know you.
This guy's full of shit saying he went to vote. There's photos of him going to mail in his vote.
Please, you have some identification. I don't want to lose my job. I whipped out, I was lucky I had some kind of a card on that, and I didn't even know, but I gave it, thank you, sir. So I'm so embarrassed. She kept apologizing. I said, don't apologize. You're doing your job. That's what you're supposed to be doing. It was so beautiful. And we will enshrine in permanent law, where we had a big Supreme Court victory the other day, but not complete, no men in women's sports, and no transgender surgery, and the mutilization of your children. They mutilize your children. So, ladies and gentlemen of Michigan, the golden age of America is upon us. We're in the golden age. This is an age like no other. And the men and women of the American auto industry and General Motors are leading the way. And I'm so proud of it because, as Brian and others in the room know, I fought for this for years. I was here 25 years ago. I got Man of the Year. By the way, the press questioned that, and then they found out it was true, actually. And I made a speech, and all I talked about was, why are you letting them steal your auto industry? I said, your auto industry is being stolen. It's going to Germany.
Hey, what up, Cindy Prim? How's it going? Good to hear from you. Hope you're having a good Sunday, or a good Monday, and hope you had a good weekend.
Mexico and Japan and South Korea and Canada. Why are you letting it happen? They stole over 50%. It's all coming back. Who would think it's all coming back? It's all coming back right now. More plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. With your help and patriots all across this magnificent land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America
This guy's a freaking moron right here.
proud again. We will make America safe again. and we will make America.
Yo, dude, you've been in office for 18 months and you're still saying the same shit, you dumbass.
Great again. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, thank God that's over with. Fuck, I hate watching these Trump speeches, but it's something that has to be done. Gotta see what this clown is up to. Let's go see what Pete Kegsbreath is up to. Let's go watch a couple other clowns. Pete Kegsbreath made a move today. And so did Stephen Pimplehead Miller. Stephen Pimplehead Miller's in this. Let's go see what these clowns are up to.
Today.
Let's go to the beginning here. Who's this guy?
Repaired over 500.
Let's see what these dudes have to say.
Establishment of this.
All right, let's see what's happening over here. See what these guys are talking about.
Stripes and bright stars.
Of our citizen warriors as they stood vigil on the forward edge of freedom. Since 1775 at Lexington and Concord, when the shot was heard round the world, Americans have stood their ground to protect freedom and liberty. Today, we honor these members of Joint Task Force Southern Border with the Mexican Border Defense Medal. It is an acknowledgement of their service providing protection along our country's border. And as the scriptures foretold, God is our help in trouble, and he provided through these faithful servants. Those who answered the call joined a distinguished cohort of warriors who
All right, let's fast forward to Pete Kegsbreath. That's what I really want to hear.
Very much for being here.
All right,
Your present.
All right, here's Pete Kegsbreath right here. This is from earlier today. This is titled Secretary Pete Kegsbreath presides over Mexican Border Defense Medal ceremony at the Pentagon.
This is a testament to the importance of this topic. The very top of the Navy, the top of the Army, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Homeland Security Advisor, other members of the White House, our leadership at OSW. From day one, the defense of the homeland and getting 100% operational control of our southwest border was the number one priority of this department. Yes, now it's codified in our national defense strategy as defend the homeland and the hemisphere. That we eventually did. But from day one, operationally, this department, this building, these services surged down to the border to stop the invasion of our southern border, which is truly what it was. Yes, there we have had troops on our border for 25 years, you're correct, General. But in many ways, they were down there as window dressing. They were down there with binoculars and no authorities. They were down there as part of just the status quo of rotation of things, the way we did business. And it was often said, well, we need new and different authorities. Sure, we've inserted new authorities, but what we really needed was new leadership and new priorities, and then putting the best Americans after that problem set to get 100% control of the southwest border. So to this group, I say, this group is here, the highest levels of leadership in our department, because we recognize how fundamental and important your mission is, how difficult it has been, the challenges you've had to adapt to. But it's taking the skill sets that our generation of warfighters have learned overseas for 2 decades and applying a defense in depth on our own southwest border. Turns out we're pretty good at it. And when you build out national defense areas and when you put infantrymen and others down there on the border, securing that fence line, doing named operations, operating at night, operating with drones, counter drones, tunnels, you name it. I read all the operational reports of the types of efforts you've undertaken. You have been dynamic. You have been creative. You have been aggressive. You have used the authorities you've been given. You work with your law enforcement partners. Huge shout out to Border Patrol and Homeland Security. I know you work with them every single day. Their authorities complement yours. Your authorities complement ours because we're all Americans securing our border and stopping that invasion. And that's why for over a year, there's been effectively zero illegals crossing our border. Effectively zero, especially on the national defense areas. Because we decided our soil, our homeland, will be defended. And we will utilize our troops in those places to do it and give them maximum authorities to ensure that we stop the invasion of our southwest border. And like so many great things, like the name Department of War, it's not a new thing. It's a restoration. It's a reestablishment. We were the Department of War all the way up until World War II, and we...
Nah, it's an illegal name change, buddy. It wasn't approved by Congress.
We are again. Well, this Southwest Border Medal, the Mexican Border Defense Medal, was established in 1918 to stop other incursions and invasions. And so we're not creating something new. We actually revived the exact same medal from 1918 to be given to all of you today as a reflection that this service is an extension. We stand on the shoulders of other great Americans who defended this nation. And it always requires the real 1% to do difficult things in difficult places without enough recognition. And the reason we're bringing you all here is because every single soldier and Marine and one sailor seated here represents thousands of others who have done this mission on our southwest border and are doing it right now. And we're getting reports about it right now. And the cartels are having to deal with the realities that they can't cross our border and can't bring the drugs and the death and the human trafficking that they brought for far too long that killed way too many Americans. So President Trump made this a priority on day one. This department made it a priority on day one. We had incredible partners across the interagency, and then it took Americans to deliver. And the reason we're here in the middle of the Pentagon, you probably thought maybe you could go your whole career and not show up at the Pentagon. The reason you're here today is to demonstrate to this building, to the media, to the world, that this has been, continues to be, and will be through the entirety of the administration, our main effort to secure that southwest border. It's not inevitable that it would have happened. It only happens when you make it a priority and give people the authorities necessary to execute it. And you have operational control. We're going to continue to refine that more and more so that we've got more infrastructure and less people at the border, ensuring that no one's crossing. So thank you for your commitment to improving the position time and time again. But I want to take one interlude here for a moment and hand the podium to a dear friend of mine who we wouldn't be here without him and his focus. Yes, President Trump sets the tone, and he's talked about the border in a way that others have not for a very long time. But without Stephen Miller, our Homeland Security Advisor, this mission doesn't happen, certainly doesn't happen with the speed and urgency that has happened. And I wanted to give him a moment to address this group because he's been so fundamental to making it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Stephen Miller.
Oh, God. Oh, God, it's this clown right here. Look at this booger. Stephen Pimplehead Miller. Whenever I see Stephen Miller, I think cue ball, corner pocket. When he was born, the doctor circumcised the wrong head.
It's an honor to be here today, and I want to pick up on what Pete said about some of the dignitaries and distinguished leaders that are in this room and what it reflects in terms of how important this mission is to this administration and this Pentagon. Obviously, you heard from the Secretary of War, but again, you have General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, you have General Leneve, you have General Smith, and so many others at the highest levels of our nation's national security and defense apparatus. Because as Pete said, this, from the very minute the president put his hand on the Bible, has been the highest priority of this administration. And I remember distinctly in the hours after the inauguration, the airlift had already begun. Massive assets are being mobilized and moved down to the southern border. There has never been in history, to my knowledge or awareness, a more radical day and night shift in the security posture of the country than what happened to that border between January 20th and January 21st. Never in history has a nation achieved such a complete turnaround in its security posture in so short a time. And that was led and driven out of the Department of War with an urgency and a speed and a ferocity that I've never witnessed before in any other policy area that I ever worked on. And when you talk about bringing back a medal from 1918, it is so important to mention how interwoven the history of the U.S. Armed Forces are with the defense of our southern border. The U.S. southern border has been the scene of some of the most important military fights in the history of this country. The nation that we live in today The territory that we occupy today, the security that we have today, was achieved by prior generations who were fighting out on that frontier to secure a homeland for their people. That is the legacy that you inherit and that you continue. And when you think about threats to the lives and security of the American people, there's a reason why President Trump designated the cartels operating just meters from you on the other side of that border as foreign terrorist organizations. This is a very important point to underscore. As a foreign terrorist organization,
Unsere Abstammung und unser Erbe reichen zurück nach Athen, nach Rom, nach Philadelphia, nach Monticello. Unsere Vorfahren bauten die Städte, sie schufen die Kunst und Architektur, sie bauten die Industrie. Du hast nichts, du bist nichts. Du bist Bosheit, du bist Eifersucht, du bist Neid, du bist Hass, du bist nichts, du kannst nichts bauen, du kannst nichts produzieren.
the Mexican drug cartels sit in the exact same legal position as ISIS or Al Qaeda. Except unlike ISIS or Al Qaeda, they're not operating thousands of miles away. Again, they're operating meters from where you show up to perform your duties every single day. Those organizations not only export massive death in the form of narcotics to our country, but they also export sophisticated criminal enterprises whose objective is to destabilize our democracy and to end the rule of law in our country. There's a reason why in Mexico, the justice system doesn't work, the political system doesn't work, the legal system doesn't work. It's because you have territory controlled and occupied by terrorist organizations who kill, extort, kidnap, or murder anybody who gets in the way. And the line that is keeping that reality from existing in our country is the borderline that you are defending each and every day. The lives that you have saved already, think about this, number in the tens of thousands. Can anybody else ask to have a more noble cause in their life than to get to wake up in the morning and know that thousands of people that you will never meet or interact with are alive today, are with their families today, are going to be at Christmas in December, and are going to be able to enjoy their kids' graduation or wedding and every other life milestone because of the service and sacrifice that you made. This is not abstract. This is not, the abstractions are important, saying, well, you engage in a mission here, and that will support this, and this will support that, and eventually it'll, this is as direct as it gets. The enemy is mere feet from where you work, and your job is to prevent them from gaining a foothold of any kind in our country, and you have succeeded.
Look at this clown over here with his McCarthyism, Red Scare tactics.
But we don't rest on our laurels because, as Secretary said, we are going to advance and progress every day, set a higher mission, a higher standard, a higher objective to achieve the ultimate degradation and eventual defeat of the enemy. So I congratulate each and every one of you. I salute each and every one of you. You've earned the everlasting gratitude, not only of this department, not only of this White House, but of the President and of the entire nation. Thank you and God bless.
Well, I could not say it any better myself. That's why I see the podium. His passion drove this mission, but the dedication of...
Hey, everyone, Blue Wave Tsunami, vote. Get out there and vote. Midterms. Wipe out all these MAGA orange ball-licking politicians. Every single one of them. Every single seat.
This department made it happen. And so I want to thank all the senior leaders here again for your commitment to this cause. And wherever Border Bob is, he gets a shout out because he was the acting secretary for 4 days before I was confirmed, and he drove the speed for 4 days.
Hey, Living Dead Girl, I seen Senator Moody. She's gonna get voted out for sure. Senator Moody chick, screw her. She sucks.
And then handed the baton to me, and we've been running ever since. But I also want to mention, pass my gratitude to your families, wives, husbands, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, as well as the remainder of your units, and that we know this is time away, just like any other deployment, just like any other action, but that what you've done is incredibly meaningful to the soul of this nation, and we are grateful for the service that you've given. And we bring you here to this department to showcase it to the world. The media doesn't want to talk about about problems that go away or why they went away. So it's our job to continue to tell the story of the incredible success of great Americans, not serving for the spotlight, but who deserve the spotlight. And so that's why we're here today. So on behalf of your Commander-in-Chief, on behalf of the nation, it is my honor to give you these Mexican Border Defense medals, and thank you for your service to this great republic. So at this time, let's give out those medals. Thank you very much.
At this time, we welcome General Eric Smith, Major General David Gardner, and Mr. Patrick Weaver to join Secretary Hegseth on stage for the presentation of the Mexican Border Defense Medal to the Marine Corps element. Lance Corporal Sofia Arizmendi, Lance Corporal Anthony Felipe, Corporal Johnny Garcia.
All right, let's go check out some real politicians. So Abdul El Sayed is doing a debate today.
This outside.
Let's go to the beginning of this. Abdul Saeed's debating his opponent right now. Let's go see what's cracking over here.
Democratic Senate debate. It's a chance for the two candidates to make their final pitch of some special edition of The Pulse, the Democratic Senate debate. Live from our Fox 2 studios, here's Ruth Raj. And good evening and welcome to Studio C for the Democratic Senate debate. It's a chance for the two candidates to make their final pitch as to why they are the ones who can go up against Republican Mike Rogers. Now, this is a race the whole country is watching, and control of the upper chamber of Congress is on the line tonight. Now, we should mention this debate is an hour long. The first half hour is on both Fox 2 and our streaming platform, Fox Local and Fox2Detroit.com. The second half is exclusively streaming on Fox Local. So have your phone ready. We'll have a QR code at the end of the first half hour that'll take you right to the stream, or you can just log on to Fox2Detroit.com and be ready for that second half hour. Now for the rules. Candidates will get a minute opening statement and up to a minute 30 to answer any question I decide to ask. The candidates will not address one another directly, but if statements are made about another candidate on stage about a policy point or a direct accusation, that candidate will get up to a 1 minute rebuttal. But to both the candidates, a little note: the more you make accusations, the more time you're handing over to your opponent. So let's have a productive debate that highlights what you want to do, not what the other candidate can't do. There's too much on the line, too much on the table, and people deserve substance over punches tonight. Now, I want to welcome the two Democratic U.S. Senate candidates, former Wayne County Health Director Dr. Abdul El Sayed and Congresswoman Haley Stevens. To both of you, we give you a warm Fox 2 welcome. We thank you for being with us. We're taking your questions, by the way, via text, and many of those will be asked in the second half hour. Send them to 248-200-5042 or scan the QR code on your screen. The last time we did this, the system almost crashed. So many of you have questions. We know more of you will. So get on that as soon as you can. Dr. El Sayed, you get the first opening statement tonight.
Studio audience, folks watching at home, I am so grateful to be here. My name is Abdul El Sayed. I'm a doctor. I became a doctor because I go 15 minutes from where I grew up and travel a difference of 10 years difference in life expectancy. Instead of practicing clinically, I went into public health, rebuilt Detroit's health department, led Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services. We did things like put glasses on kids, took on corporate polluters, made sure that our kids weren't breathing the worst coming out of smokestacks, and eliminated medical debt. But I'm running because it just shouldn't be this hard. I've been down to 110 different cities, 475 public events. I could go to a living room in Lansing. I could be in a church in Detroit. No matter where I go, people tell me, I need to be able to afford my groceries. I need to be able to afford my gas. I need to be able to see a doctor when I get sick. My friend is going to frame this race about me and her. It's not about that. It's about you. It's about what you deserve. It's about you deserving a politics that's not bought off by the same corporations picking your pocket at every single turn. I'm looking forward to the conversation about how we get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, and pass Medicare for all.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah Al-Sayed. Next up, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, you have 1 minute for your opening statement tonight.
Well, thank you to everyone tuning in tonight. As we know, the stakes of this race couldn't be higher. Costs continue to go up. Our health care, voting rights, civil rights, it's all on the line, in addition to Social Security and Medicare. And if Mike Rogers wins this race, all goes by the wayside. Look, Michigan deserves a senator who can win and who can deliver. I'm the only one on the stage who has flipped a Republican seat, and I was named Michigan's most effective Democratic lawmaker in Congress because my only focus is you. Abdul is running for celebrity. Republicans are propping up his campaign, and Mike Rogers just the other day said in a secret phone call that he makes it easier for him to win, that he's the one he wants to run against. Look, this isn't about the DC or New York influencer crowd. This is about putting Michigan first, and I've got the receipts to do that, which is why Governor Whitmer and so many others are joining my campaign to win in November.
Congresswoman Dr. Al-Sayed, thank you both for your opening statements. Listen, just want to give you an idea of how we're going to do things a little bit differently from other debates where perhaps it's a little more formalized. This is going to be a conversation where I'm the moderator. I'll ask you questions. The time cues will be given by me. No clocks here. So let's go, and we'll begin with this. So many people have questions about affordability. It's the number one thing we hear about from people. What are they doing and what?
Hey, what's up, Praxis? Sorry to hear about that. Keep your head up. Hope it all works out, man.
And to make sure that
the only advice I can get is if you have any legal stuff, don't talk about any of your legal stuff online.
Life is
only talk to your lawyer.
Affordable for me. Dr. Al-Sayed, what are you doing that's something that perhaps we haven't heard before in Washington that's different to keep the cost of living down?
So let me just tell you, for me, it's I don't take money from the corporations who are jacking up your prices in the first place. When you're bought off by DTE and Blue Cross and Big Pharma and Big Tech and APAC, don't be surprised that there's a pro quo that comes with that quid. That money doesn't just fall off trees. $60 million from outside organizations in this race, they just come from nowhere. It's because those exact same organizations expect something on the other side, and that's that they get to expect to own your next U.S. senator. So it starts with being able to say, I'm the only candidate in this race who doesn't take any money from corporations, never have, never will. And then from there, things like enforce our antitrust policies that haven't been enforced. I can do things like tax billionaires their wealth so we can take that money and invest it in you and your kids in your schools. I can do things like make sure that rather than sending your money somewhere else to drop bombs on other people and their kids, we can keep that money here at home. And just in case you don't believe me, just think about this. Just last week, our friend here voted $3.3 billion of your tax dollars to a foreign government. That is the pro quo that comes with a quid of $30 million spent by APAC. So it really comes down to how are you funded?
Dr. Al-Sayed, thank you. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, we heard a lot from Dr. Al-Sayed. Some of that was about your record in Washington. I want you to be able to address that, but also tell us what you would do to keep the cost of living down.
Yeah, our affordability crisis is choking us out here in Michigan. You know, everywhere I go, if it's at the fish fry in downtown Detroit, or the working single mom who just the other day told me her healthcare costs continue to go up, that the grocery bill is only getting harder. We don't need lip service. We need action. And Abdul's going to talk about where employees from certain corporations are spending their money, but let me tell you about what I am doing, because DTE and our utility companies are selling out their ratepayers, and I'm giving them an option. I'm saying DTE, either stop raising rates or lose your federal funds and cut executive pay. Look, we need proven fighters in these positions, and that is what I have done time and time again. I've got the receipts to show it, and this is also why Governor Whitmer and A.G. Nessel, two proven fighters who want to see results, have endorsed me in this race, because Michigan, it needs a workhorse in the United States Senate, sleeves rolled up, ready to tackle our problems on day one.
15.
And I'm not just stopping there. Let's lower the cost of groceries with my bill. No tariffs on groceries.
I do want to get into the weeds a bit with this, because I want to ask you a very direct question that so many people ask us. Are these folks getting money from big utility? Congresswoman Haley Stevens, are you taking money for your campaign from DTE or consumers?
No, but let me say this, Rue. I have been transparent. I have been transparent throughout this campaign, and let me just say this, that the only thing that ever motivates my work is the people of Michigan, the people who I hear from. You know, my opponent is on these big podcasts. You know, he's running a podcast himself. These folks are making fun of the way I sound, but yet I sound like the people who need help, who are talking to me about what they need.
Congresswoman, that was a follow-up to ask the direct question, whether you're taking money from utilities or not.
No.
The answer is no. Thank you. Dr. El-Sayed, I'm asking you the same question. Any money from anyone that we don't...
Hey, what up, Living Dead Girl? All right. Hey, catch you later. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of your Monday. Hey, what's happening, J-Fo? Good to see you. What's up? What's up, News Troll?
No and never, but then $40,000 in...
Hey, what's up, Robert? Nobody's voting red, dude. MAGA movement's done. It's over. Accept the reality.
Proceeds to her campaign from DTE's corporate PAC. And then there's, I don't know, Center for Democratic Priorities, which released its funders, but then they're behind these shell organizations, these 501c4s. So I'd really like to revisit that question because I don't know how to explain $40,000 directly to her campaign from DTE. I'm the only candidate in this race who's never touched a dime of corporate PAC money.
I do want to ask both of you about your campaigns respectively when it comes to certain questions that people have. Congresswoman, we'll begin with you, and we'll dive right into that right now. You've heard many people ask the question about AIPAC, and it seems as though on many instances you haven't directly answered the question. Do you see why some people are bothered by the fact that so much money, $40+ million, has come from AIPAC for these PACs to talk about you and to promote you and to put you up as a candidate?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question, Root, because this moment in this country and here in Michigan, people have every right to be frustrated about our campaign finance system. My opponent here on this stage, Abdul, he's got a super PAC that his father-in-law funds that has millions of dollars going into it. And look, in terms of foreign policy, you know, Abdul and I do differ. I believe in a two-state solution. He has attacked me by name for purporting that the people of Palestine and the people of Israel deserve to live side by side peacefully. The goal is always long-term peace. And also, the Prime Minister of Israel has attacked me by name. They both represent the extremes. Look, Michiganders want peace. They deserve to see peace, and that is where I have always cast my vote, and that is the work that I want to do for Michigan and the U.S. Senate.
Specifically about AIPAC money, more than $46 million has been spent on AIPAC spending to back your campaign. A lot of people wonder if that is something where you're going to do their bidding should you win this seat. Is that something people should be concerned about? And if not, why not?
Absolutely not, Luke. Look, I have been very clear, consistent, and transparent, and I have continued to be. I want to see long-term peace. I want to see a two-state solution.
She kind of looks like Erica Kirk in a way.
Deeply proud to represent one of the largest Jewish populations in a congressional district in the country. This is a community that I have grieved alongside, that I've mourned alongside, and have fought to bring the hostages home. And I'm still working to get us to long-term peace.
But no concern about the $46 million+ spent on the behalf of AIPAC that should worry people about perhaps you doing their bidding should you win the seat?
Well, I don't think there's much difference between super PACs going in for Abdul or super PACs going in for me. We have a problem with campaign finance reform in this country. I have an A grading from End Citizens United. I have been endorsed by Defend the Vote. I have voted consistently, and I'm going to stop Mike Rogers from getting anywhere close to the United States Senate, which is why he doesn't want to run against me, and which is why somebody like Governor Whitmer is supporting.
Yeah, I think this lady just lost the debate right now.
Me in this race.
Abdul all day.
Congresswoman Stevens, thank you. I want to give some equal time here to Dr. El-Sayed. And specifically, I want to talk to you a little bit about this geopolitical weight that we all feel in this community, which is about the Israel-Palestine issue. It obviously has colored this election greatly. It colors the Democratic Party. How do you see yourself moving forward should you become a senator here, handling the situation with Iran, Israel, and Hamas?
So I just want to say the difference between us is $46 million of AIPAC spending. They've set a record in this race to help elect my opponent because they know that she'll be a reliable vote, just like she took last week to send your tax dollars to a foreign government that is aiding, arming, and abetting the very people who want to foreclose on the possibility of Palestinian self-determination. Look, at the end of the day, my job is to take care of you here. I want to be your U.S. Senator. I want your tax dollars spent in Michigan to provide schools in Michigan, to build healthcare in Michigan, to build roads in Michigan. And I think that money sent over there to kill kids and women is the worst use of our tax dollars. And yet, that's exactly what $46 million in spending will buy you. And I believe deeply that we have a responsibility to make sure that we don't make other people's problems worse. So I believe in equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for Palestinians and Jewish Israelis alike. I believe that we should not be fighting stupid wars that AIPAC wants us to fight in the first place. And I believe we have a responsibility to keep our money here, to invest here. That really is the difference. We're being outspent in this race 12-1. Chances are you're going to see an ad, probably 2 of them, on behalf of AIPAC for my opponent in the next commercial break. That's what that buys you, lying about a record around President Obama's endorsement or lying about me and my character. But that's exactly what happens when you stand up and say, maybe Palestinians should have rights too, and maybe we should have rights to our tax dollars here.
Dr. El-Sayed, I'm going to give Congresswoman a chance to respond as you made a couple of accusations there about her record. Go ahead, Congresswoman.
Well, as I said, I have been transparent, and that is why I have released my full tax returns, and Abdul still hasn't. We need to ask him, what's he hiding? What are the Republicans going to uncover in the general election that they will use against him? I am the only non-millionaire in this race. I have been recognized as an effective Democratic lawmaker who, yes, governs in a clear, consistent way on complex challenges. I am beholden to the people of Michigan, the people who I hear from when I'm in the grocery store line, people who've broken down in tears, asking me how we can address this affordability crisis. And that is what I am doing. That is what I will do on day one. And I have the receipts to prove it. Dana Nessel agrees with me.
Dr. El-Sayed, I do want to ask you a question about the tone and the tenor of this campaign. It is safe to say that everyone from Washington to Washington Township in Michigan are sick and tired of people pointing fingers, screaming, yelling, and insulting one another. We've seen a lot of that all across the country. Just earlier this week, we heard that there was some kind of a Zoom call in which you had referenced an opponent as ogre on a pike. And so many people took offense to that. And it really pointed to the bigger question about the tone and tenor that you've been accused of having in this campaign. Do you regret any of the comments that you've made? And do you think that this race could take a more productive and a more substantive tone if we get those personal slams out? Look, I took to Twitter last week and said that the tone in which people talk about my opponent is unkind. And I asked anybody who supported me to not talk about her that way. In fact, when she got booed on the stage at the Michigan Democratic Party convention, I called her personally and said that that was unkind. My supporters had nothing to do with it, but I don't think that that's the way we want to do politics. I was referring to a guy named John Fetterman, who's a senator from Pennsylvania, who has done terrible things, got elected on a set of values, and is now completely throwing those values in the mud. And I do think it's important for any senator in Michigan to have a relationship with folks who are in the U.S. Senate. And if those folks are not actually acting in accordance with what they got elected on, I think it's important for all of us to have an honest opinion about what we're going to do to make sure that our Senate looks like the people it represents. But when we talk about unkindness, I also just want to speak to the fact that on behalf of my opponent, UDP, another name for AIPAC, has been running attack ad after attack ad after attack ad on my character. I'm the father of 2 daughters. I'm raising them to be stronger than any man. My wife is a doctor. My mother was the first tenured professor of engineering at her university. I was raised by strong women. To say that somehow, because I wrote an op-ed 15 years ago about First Lady Michelle Obama, or I ran against Governor Whitmer, that somehow I'm disrespecting anybody is just inconsistent with the truth. So I really think it's important for my opponent to speak to.
Yeah, I think Netanyahu is coming to visit Trump tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes.
She thinks it's okay to spend $10 million of AIPAC money coming after my character. I'd love to understand that, because I went on Twitter and I said that those comments are unkind. I'd like to see the same thing.
Congresswoman, we're going to get to some questions from our audience in just a moment, but Congresswoman, I do want to give you a chance to address that civility issue that is lacking severely in American politics. Is this something that the ads that you see on television, whether you paid for them or whether someone else paid for them, do you think they're doing an injustice to voters by just filling the room with vitriol and hate and not getting to the issues?
Well, look, there was something else that was revealed in the phone call that Abdul was mentioning, which is that he said that he's not going to be able to get much done, that he's not focused on policy for the first 2 years that he is in the United States Senate, that he's going to be focused on national politics. Again, Michigan needs a workforce, and I am offering these ideas on day one.
Congressman, respectfully,
Yes,
I do want to answer the question.
But
it's
it
about
is
civility.
important to
It's
be
about civility.
transparent about what is being said here. And look, Abdul's a great guy. He's a great father. Only he can account for saying that, Whitmer's bought and paid for, or that, no one cares about Debbie Stabenow, or that Mallory McMorrow isn't smart enough. That is certainly on him to respond to, which we certainly just did hear from him on that.
Dr. Al-Sayed, you have a quick minute.
Look, I told you at the outset that my opponent was going to make this race about me and her. But this is about you. This is about whether or not you deserve a politics of the people, by the people, and for the people, or of the corporations, by the billionaires, and for the special interests. In an effort to talk about civility, I just took another attack. And I just want you to ask yourself, what is it that you deserve from your politics now? Do you deserve a politician more focused on their opponent because they want to be in a seat? Or do you deserve a politics where we're all asking, how do we actually serve you best? Because that's what I'm focused on here in this debate and been focused on for this entire 15-month campaign that we've been running on.
Well, and thank you for clarifying that you didn't call me an ogre.
No, again, for the record, it was Mr. Thurman that was apparently called an ogre in the call, not you. However, I do want to get to some audience questions as well. It's time to take questions from our studio audience. We want to remind you that we're taking your questions at home as well. Just scan the QR code on your screen or text it to 248-200-5042. Make sure you tune in at 8 o'clock to stream Fox Local on fox2detroit.com. These candidates will be answering your questions. But right now, we begin with Hannah, who is a voter who's here today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. So, what I wanted to ask was, compared to neighboring states, Michigan consistently ranks among one of the worst for power reliability and rate affordability. As hotter summers and severe storms strain our infrastructure, what federal policies or grid investment standards will you champion to ensure Michigan residents get reliable, affordable power?
We'll begin with Congresswoman Haley Stevens for an answer on that.
Yeah, well, and Hannah, thank you so much for asking such an important and palpable question to so many Michiganders. It has been deeply frustrating to see Donald Trump get rid of the clean energy tax credits. It has been deeply frustrating to see our utility bills go up and up and up. These companies do not care about the ratepayers, and they are selling us out. I am not offering lip service to this issue. I'm offering a solution, which is to say to these companies, either lower the rates or lose your federal funds. Look, I voted for the infrastructure bill. I secured funds for us back here in Michigan. I want to do more of that, passing the largest climate bill in the history of this country. Donald Trump's trying to erase it. We need a science-forward agenda delivering for us, meeting the moment for who our families are, what our children deserve, and that's why I'm running for United States Senate.
Hannah, we have an answer from Dr. Al-Sayed as well.
Anna, thank you so much for such an important question. I just want to speak directly to what's happening right now. You've got DTE, which is the biggest spender in our entire politics. They spend on 93% of the entire elected state legislature, as well as most of our congresspeople, including my colleague here. And that allows them to get away with things like building one of the largest hyperscale data centers in our state in ex parte approval. Now, that's fancy terms for saying approval without actually going through the normal process. And this is going to increase the load on our grid by more than twice. Now, we just lost our power for 5 days in a row because of a mid-level storm. We need to do a lot better. To me, it's about transparency in policymaking. People should not be able to take that money and then turn the other cheek and then allow for these approval processes that aren't approval processes at all. I still have yet to see a plan from DTE about how they're going to improve our reliability while doubling more so the amount of electricity they're expected to provide for a data center that nobody asked for. I put out terms of engagement because these data centers, that was one of 15 that proposed last year alone. We need to be serious about the incoming threat that's going to make all of this so much worse.
Thank you both, and thank you, Hannah, for your question. I want to address both of the candidates, and by the way, we are going to get to some text message questions as well from all of you at home. But I want to talk specifically about your campaigns, and I think it's noteworthy that one of the reasons we're doing this debate is to contrast the two of you, where you stand on so many issues, but also on how you go about doing your business, how you campaign. Dr. El-Sayed, I'll begin with you. The Democratic Socialists of America have not made an endorsement in this particular race, but when you go to a rally, and we've covered so many of them are from that organization. Who are you when it comes to your political stripes? Many people call you progressive. Some have accused you of being a socialist. Not that that's a bad word, but people have said that about you. Where do you stand on your politics? How would you describe your politics?
Roof, I'm a doctor and a scientist. I want policy solutions that actually map to the problems that we face. My governing experience is rebuilding a health department in the city of Detroit, leading Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services. We had to go in there and work with a diverse community to be asking what are the challenges we face and how do we actually solve them. We were able to identify the fact that our county ranked number 8 for medical debt nationwide, and we could eliminate that for a penny on the dollar. So we set aside $7 million to erase up to $700 million in medical debt. When kids couldn't get glasses, 30% of them would get tested positive for needing glasses and wouldn't get a pair. We put optometrists on vans outside of schools so that as soon as a kid got a positive test, they'd go out, get a full optometric exam, and get a pair of glasses delivered within 2 weeks of a vision test. Now, working with a diverse community of people, you come to realize that not every solution fits the same way. You've got to be thinking about a solution in the right way. When it comes to the question of socialism, I'm not a socialist. I'm just a capitalist who understands how capitalism works. The biggest threat to capitalism was never the idea of government regulation. It was always monopoly. I want you to think about the stuff that you have to buy, whether it's your groceries and the number of stores you can go to, or it's buying a flight to see your grandmother, or it's picking a phone or a phone provider. You have like 2 or 3 options, and that shouldn't be legal, but that's the way our economy works right now. So I think government ought to be there to regulate on monopolies and oligopolies so that everybody can actually participate in an economy without having to be forced to pay more or get paid less for the work they do.
Congresswoman Stevens, another question about your campaign. We've seen just in the last few days, of course, Senator Sanders, we've seen AOC, and we've seen Elizabeth Warren just today, and they're all behind Abdul. These are the people who worked with you in the same room, have watched you for your 4 terms. Should that concern voters that they're taking the outsider side in this case? You have a minute and a half.
Well, I think that we should look at the fact that Brenda Lawrence, my longtime mentor and dear friend, Congresswoman from Oakland County representing Detroit, has been an early endorser of mine in this race alongside Governor Whitmer, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, who, like myself, has been recognized as the most effective lawmaker for our state. But let me be really clear right now, because I'm going to tell you what kind of politician I am. I am Michigan's manufacturing geek, okay? I have visited hundreds of small to mid-sized manufacturing shop floors. I have operated CNC machines in my life previous to being in elected office. I have a deep passion for the bread and butter of our state and a unique understanding of it. So when Donald Trump and Mike Rogers go to lick the bootstraps of China and start a trade war with Canada, screwing us over and selling us down the river, I will be standing up for us and securing things like what I did with the CHIPS and Science Act to deliver for our youth and equity and inclusion. It is so very important to our future. Jobs for everyone, lower costs, and stop these abuses of power that are coming down from Trump and Rogers, who are treating it like the stock trading floor.
Congresswoman Haley Stevens, Dr. El-Sayed, we thank you so much for your time. We're not done at all. In fact, the debate is only halfway through. Our conversation continues. We have a lot of text messages. This bat phone's been blowing up when it takes some of your questions. The debate continues on our streaming platform, Fox Local. Here's what you do. Scan the QR code on the right of your screen. Go right to fox2detroit.com if that's easier. On your phone, iPad, or on your connected TV, Fox Local. The candidates will answer more good questions, and we'll hear from more of our studio audience as well. We've already received more than 700 text messages. We're going to comb through them, get to a couple of them after the break. I'm Roop Raj. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Monitoring all these texts. Yours could be asked next. We'll also hear from our studio audience as well. And so we begin with this text message from Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed and also Congresswoman Haley Stevens. How will you bring back manufacturing jobs and secure longevity for the big three? Congresswoman, you had a chance to address this earlier. I want to begin with Dr. Al-Sayed on what he plans to do when it comes to manufacturing jobs and securing the big three.
Well, I'm grateful for the endorsement of the UAW. And they endorse me because they understand that a pathway forward to bring back the manufacturing that we lost because of terrible policies like USMCA, voted on by my friend here, is to make sure that we are thoughtful about actually regulating the way that corporations and the top of corporations make decisions. Number one, I think we need to ban stock buybacks. This is this process by which corporations will literally buy their own stock to artificially raise their stock price, taking money away from the future of R&D and the workers themselves. Number two, I actually think that there's a pathway, unlike the stupid tariffs of Donald Trump, which is around-the-clock tariffs for everyone. I think that there's a place for targeted tariffs. If you think about free trade like cancer, I think we need some chemo. And the way that that would work is that they were transparent, specific, directed to particular product lines. And then number three, I think we need to massively invest in continuing to be the best place to make an internal combustion engine in the world, and also to invest in EVs and EV infrastructure. And I want to talk about what I mean by that. I don't believe in a mandate, but what I do believe is that you should be able to buy a $25,000, 300-mile range car brought to you by the big three. Why? Because that's the way that we're going to be able to create a product line that can compete all over the world with the kinds of cars that China is now manufacturing and eating our lunch on. But that means we have to invest in workers, and that really is the most important piece here. The UAW has built the American automotive industry. We need to be invested in them. We need to make sure that we continue to have the best manufacturing and engineering talent in the world. And that means ending the restriction that we've seen, and it means investing in our workers again. Again, we have an opportunity to continue to lead if we're willing to actually think past the ridiculousness of the Trump administration into what the future can be and into how we continue to invest in workers, engineers, and a product line be fit for the future.
Congresswoman, I know you have a lot of notes and a lot in your mind and heart about manufacturing, but does it disturb you at all that the UAW put their endorsement to Abdul when you've done all this stuff for manufacturing that you talked about?
Look, I am so deeply proud to have a longstanding relationship with retirees and UAW members and to have 17 labor endorsements in this race by a long shot. And I'm also very proud to have receipts and plans. And I'll show you where I'm leading the charge. Costs are killing us in our manufacturing sector. All right, the trade war with Canada has sold us out. There are 1,000 Cleveland Cliffs workers, mostly in Downriver, that are out of work right now. You know, Mike Rogers wants to rubber stamp all of this. The stakes couldn't be higher. November is 50-50. He said on the leaked call he wants to run against Abdul. He knows that I passed bipartisan wins for Michigan with CHIPS and science to lessen our dependence on China, that I want to do that with critical minerals, which will lower costs and create jobs and continue to propel us as a manufacturing hub. And look, Group, I was deeply proud to play a role in the Obama administration when our big three was on the line, particularly General Motors and Chrysler, and hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs across our state. That was a long time ago, but it was policy that worked. We cannot take for granted that this incredible state of ours, Michigan, is just one of a handful left in the country whose central economy, all the jobs.
Well, hey guys, it's been stimulating, folks, but I'm out of here. I'm gonna go do an RFK Jr. cold plunge. It's like 100 degrees. Catch you guys all later. Hope you guys all have a good day. All right, let's see what's going on here. Thanks for everyone that voted. All right, out of almost 900 votes, 68% of the people that voted say that Donald Trump is a disgrace to this country. So that checks out. That's a good indicator of how the blue wave tsunami is going to go this midterms. So get out there and vote. Vote out all these MAGA meat-riding politicians. Hey, later on, News Troll. Later, JFO. See you later, Praxis. All right, later, Richard. All right, you guys all have a good rest of your Monday out there. All right, peace out. Oh, if you guys want to watch the rest of this, you can find it on like Fox 2 Detroit.